This girl, getting married without even telling me first. I guess I can't keep you forever, Harrison sighed. Dad, don't say that. This is what you always wanted, Serafina said. Don't worry, sir. I'll take care of Serafina for the rest of my life, I said, taking her hand in mine. Good, good. As long as you two are happy. Susan, have the staff prepare a celebratory dinner. We have to drink to this tonight, Harrison said cheerfully. Of course. Susan nodded eagerly. I smiled. It seemed the two of them were finally convinced. Oh, Dad, your health isn't good. You shouldn't be drinking, Serafina said, concerned. Nonsense. It's Leo's first time here. I have to have a drink with my son-in-law, he said with a grin. Serafina knew her father's stubbornness, so she didn't argue. Soon, Harrison and I were drinking and chatting at the dinner table. If Serafina hadn't stopped us, the old man probably would have tried to drink me under the table. After dinner, the staff served tea, and Harrison and I continued our conversation. By the way, Leo, do you play chess? He asked with a smile. I know a little, sir, I said honestly. I really only knew the basics. Excellent. It's been so long since I've had a good game. Susan, go get my chessboard. Leo and I are going to play a few rounds, Harrison said, his eyes lighting up. Dad, chess takes a lot of mental energy, Serafina reminded him. It's fine. I've been resting for a long time. I feel great, he said, waving her off. A moment later, Susan brought out the chessboard and set it on the coffee table. Harrison and I began to play. At first, he was just playing for fun, but as the game went on, he realized I was a formidable opponent. Harrison had been a successful businessman his whole life, and his only hobby was chess. He was a master, on par with a professional player. But today, he was losing to me again and again. It was then that he realized his new son-in-law was a shark in sheep's clothing. Leo, you're not a very honest young man, he grumbled. You're a master, and you said you only knew a little. You made me let my guard down. I've lost this game for sure. Ahem, maybe I just got lucky, sir, I said awkwardly. I wasn't trying to hustle him. I really had only known a little, but with my advanced intellect, my chess skills had skyrocketed. I could easily analyze his every move and set traps for him without him even realizing it. Don't give me that. There's no such thing as luck in chess. Let's play another game, he said. Though he had lost, he was ecstatic. For a true chess lover, finding a worthy opponent was the greatest thrill. Oh, Dad, you lost? Serafina was stunned. She knew how good her father was. She wondered if he had let me win on purpose. In the next game, Harrison was incredibly focused, taking several minutes for each move. But in the end, I still managed to capture a large group of his pieces. Oh, I miscalculated. No, that move doesn't count, he said, slapping his forehead in frustration when he realized he was about to lose. Now, sir. No takebacks in chess, I said with a smile. That's right, no takebacks. Even though I lost, that was a damn good game. So satisfying. He said, slapping his thigh with joy. Seeing her father so happy, Serafina felt a pang of emotion. It had been a long time since he'd been this cheerful. She looked at me, and for a moment, she thought I was quite handsome. A flicker of gratitude warmed her heart. But how was this guy so good at chess? Leo, one more game. I can't believe I can't beat you, Harrison said, full of fighting spirit. Dad, it's getting late. Leo and I have to go home. And you need to rest. The doctor said you shouldn't stay up late, Serafina quickly intervened. Right. No staying up late. Serafina, you two should just stay here tonight. Your room on the third floor is always kept clean, he said suddenly. Huh? Serafina and I were both dumbfounded. That's right. It's already past 11. It's too late to drive back. And Leo has been drinking, Susan added. Auntie, we have to work tomorrow. And I can drive, Serafina said. Stay here? That would mean sharing a room with me. How could we do that? But if we didn't, our cover would be blown. It's too late. I won't feel safe with you driving. You can just wake up a little earlier tomorrow, Harrison insisted. That's right. You should take Leo upstairs. You two can wash up and go to bed early, Susan nodded. Oh, all right then. Leo and I will go upstairs, Serafina said with a sigh, pulling me up the stairs. Leo, wait a minute, Harrison called out. Yes, Dad? I asked. You silly boy. You're already married. Why are you still calling me sir? He said, feigning anger. Oh, Dad, my mistake, I quickly corrected myself. Good, good. Leo, now that you're married, I have a mission for you, he said, his expression suddenly serious. What is it, Dad? You and Serafina need to give me a grandchild soon. Ha? I was stunned. I never expected the old man to make such a request. Well, if your daughter is willing, I can definitely give you a few chubby grandchildren, I thought. But alas, we were a fake couple. Dad, what are you talking about? You're embarrassing us. We just got married, Serafina's face turned beet red. This was too awkward. What's there to be embarrassed about? We're all family here, right, Leo? He asked with a grin. Yes, Dad. Don't worry, I'll work hard to get Serafina pregnant soon, I readily agreed. Good, good. Harrison nodded with satisfaction. Serafina shot me a resentful look. What was this bastard talking about? Get her pregnant? With what? And to make matters worse, she found herself imagining a future where she was pregnant and I was by her side, supporting her. It was too mortifying. That's right. When you have kids, I'll babysit, Susan chimed in. Oh, I'm not talking to you two anymore. We're going upstairs, Serafina said, quickly pulling me away. After we went upstairs, Harrison and his sister sat down on the sofa in the living room. Susan, get me a cigarette, he said, his expression serious. You still want to smoke? Brother, do you think Serafina and Leo are really married? She asked, unable to hold back her curiosity any longer. What? You can't tell? He asked. When Serafina first came in, I didn't believe it. But when she showed me the marriage certificate, I was mostly convinced, she explained. Then why do you think I asked them to stay the night? He said with a sly smile. You want to see if they'll sleep together? You're still such a schemer in your old age, she said, shaking her head. How else am I supposed to know if that girl is trying to fool her old man? Harrison still had his doubts. Even if they are really dating, why would they get married so quickly? Without even talking to us first, Susan said, still puzzled. Serafina, that girl definitely has another motive. She's trying to protect my life's work, he said, thinking of an unwritten rule of the Horizon Dynamics board. Protect the company? I don't understand all that business stuff, she said, shaking her head. Upstairs in the third-floor bedroom, Serafina and I stared at each other, not knowing what to do. A man and a woman, alone in a room, legally married. It was a perfectly logical situation. I looked at Serafina's beautiful face and her perfect figure and swallowed hard. Honey, let's get started, I said, sitting down on the bed. Start what? She asked warily. What your dad asked us to do. I couldn't help but tease her when I saw her tense expression. You're in my house, and you dare to have improper thoughts about me? Who gave you the nerve? She said, gritting her teeth and instinctively taking a step back. Are you going to disobey your father? Come on, sit over here, I said with a wicked grin, patting the bed. Hayes, you'd better get rid of those dirty thoughts right now, or I'll break your legs. All three of them. She sneered, grabbing a nearby chair. I had no doubt that if I made a move, she would use it. My eye twitched. Damn, this woman was violent. I instinctively crossed my legs. But seeing her wary expression, I couldn't help but laugh. Pfft, ha ha. Honey, look how scared you are. Did you wet your pants? So the high and mighty CEO could be scared too. You're the one who wet your pants, she retorted, realizing I was just messing with her. You bastard. Get off my bed. You can't get on the bed without changing into pajamas, she said, kicking me lightly. Oh? So if I change into pajamas, I can get on the bed? My eyes lit up. Of course, no, you can't get on the bed even if you change. You're sleeping on the floor, she said angrily. I looked at the cold, hard floor. On the floor? It's so cold. Why did you even agree to stay? What do you know? Why do you think my father asked us to stay? He wants to see if we're for real, she said, sitting down with a sigh. Oh, so you and your dad are playing spy games. By the way, did your dad forget something earlier? I asked, getting off the bed and sitting down at the desk. Forget what? She asked, confused. I called him Dad. Why didn't he give me any red envelope money for it? I said shamelessly. Serafina was speechless. What was this guy thinking? What? Don't you rich families have that custom? I grinned. No. She glared at me. Wow, the Ice Queen could glare too. Fine, I'll sleep on the floor. But can you find me some pajamas? I need to take a shower. I sweated a lot while I was drinking, I said. She sighed. She would just have to put up with it for one night. She went to the closet and pulled out a very modest set of long-sleeved pajamas. Wear this. Ha? Do you think this will fit me? Wait, I'll get you another one. She pulled out a pink set. Is this a nightgown? I held it up. It was a woman's nightgown. So what? It's new, I've never worn it, she explained. It's not about whether it's new or not. It's a woman's nightgown, and it's pink. I'll look ridiculous. I'm a man, I said seriously. I might dress casually, but I still had some standards. I don't have any men's pajamas here. If you don't want to wear it, then don't. She glared at me. I was at a loss. I couldn't exactly go ask the old man for pajamas. Fine, I'll wear it, I said, taking the nightgown and heading to the bathroom. Wait a minute. She saw my expression and immediately bolted from the bathroom. This bastard. He's still a shameless rogue. She fumed. Just then, she saw my phone on the desk and had an idea. When that bastard comes out in the nightgown, I'll take a picture. I'll have blackmail material on him. We'll see if he dares to mess with me again, she plotted. A few minutes later, I came out of the bathroom. Just as she raised her phone to take a picture, she realized I wasn't wearing the pink nightgown. I was wearing her fluffy bathrobe. Oh? You? Why are you wearing the bathrobe? She was stunned. Surprise. You should have just given me this in the first place. It's much better than the nightgown, I said, drying my hair. You shameless rogue. She was on the verge of tears. The bathrobe was in a small cabinet in the bathroom, a cabinet that also held all her underwear. If I had gotten the bathrobe from there, then, he must have seen all her underwear. She rushed into the bathroom and opened the cabinet. Her face turned beet red. Her underwear was all on display. Ahem, what's wrong? I asked, confused by her strong reaction. Did I give you permission to go through my cabinets? This is all my personal, private stuff. She said angrily. It's just a couple of Hello Kitties and some strawberries. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone, I said with a wicked grin. Ah? You shameless rogue. She was about to faint. This bastard even remembered the patterns. What? It's not like I did it on purpose, right? Or should I just take off the bathrobe? I said helplessly. I don't want to talk to you. She slammed the bathroom door shut, then quickly gathered all her underwear and stuffed it in a drawer, covering it with a towel. After she was done, she took a deep breath. Calm down, calm down. Don't get angry. It's bad for your health, she told herself. Then she locked the bathroom door and took a quick shower. She put on a modest set of long-sleeved pajamas and came out. But when she saw the scene in front of her, her anger flared up again. I was lying on her bed, spread out like a starfish. You shameless rogue! Get off my bed! Who said you could get on the bed? She said, storming over. But I didn't move. She got even angrier and grabbed a pillow, about to throw it at me. Zzz. Zzz. I was snoring. She was speechless. He was already asleep? So fast? She had only been in the shower for a few minutes. But then she remembered that I had had a few drinks at dinner, and I had said I was a lightweight. Was he drunk? Leo! She said, shaking me. I was dead to the world. She couldn't wake me up. What was she supposed to do now? Where was she supposed to sleep? She couldn't sleep on the floor. It was too cold. And if she went to the living room, her aunt would find out in the morning. This is all your fault, she said, kicking me in frustration. She couldn't stand the thought of sleeping with a man, even if they were both fully clothed. And there was no sofa in her room, just a desk and a chair. She had no choice but to set an alarm and fall asleep at her desk. At first, she couldn't sleep because of my snoring. But in the early hours of the morning, she finally drifted off. An hour later, she woke up with a sharp pain in her arm. She looked at me, sleeping soundly, and her anger boiled over. This was her bedroom. Why was she the one suffering at a desk? She gritted her teeth and went over to the bed. I had rolled over, leaving one side empty. She lay down. She was too tired to care anymore. Ring, ring, ring. The next morning, the alarm went off at 5:30, waking me up. Ha! I tried to move, but my leg was numb and I couldn't move it. I turned my head and saw Serafina lying next to me, one of her legs thrown over mine. I was speechless. This woman was a wild sleeper. The alarm woke her up too. She opened her eyes and found herself face to face with me. Ah! She screamed, kicking me off the bed. Thud! I groaned, picking myself up off the floor. You shameless rogue! What did you do to me? She shrieked, checking herself over. She was relieved to find her clothes were still on. Lady, you're strong. What could I have done to you? You were the one who made my leg go numb, I complained. Numb? Humph. You're lucky I didn't break your leg. You slept in my bed last night. I couldn't wake you up, she said, throwing a pillow at me. I caught it. It's not my fault. I'm a lightweight. I was already dizzy when I got out of the shower. I guess I just passed out, I said with an awkward smile. Humph. I think you did it on purpose, she said, turning away and stretching. I was momentarily stunned, captivated by the sight. She was so beautiful. How could she be so beautiful even without makeup? And in her pink pajamas, she looked even more feminine. For a moment, I was truly smitten. It would be amazing to actually be married to a woman like her. Ha! She suddenly noticed me staring at her and quickly covered herself. You shameless rogue! What are you looking at? If you keep staring, I'll gouge your eyes out. Now go change. We have a meeting at 9, and I can't be late. She snapped. I shook my head. She was fully clothed. What was the big deal? After we both washed up, we went downstairs. Leo, Serafina, you're up. Mrs. Hughes has made breakfast. You two should eat something, Susan said. Okay, Serafina nodded, and we went into the dining room. Susan quietly went up to the third floor and peeked into Serafina's bedroom. It seems Serafina and Leo are a real couple. It looks like they slept in the same bed last night, she said, noticing the 2 indentations on the bed. Then she went to the study to report her findings to Harrison. After breakfast, as we were about to leave, Harrison called us over. Serafina, the board's vote is in 3 months. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. The chairman position is important, but it's not worth sacrificing your happiness for, he advised. Dad, don't worry. I won't let our family's legacy fall into the hands of the Kong family, she said seriously. Serafina, I'm old. There are some things in life we can't control. I don't want you to carry such a heavy burden. I just want you to be happy, he said sincerely. I know, Dad, she said, her eyes welling up. All right, it's getting late. You two should go, he said, waving us off. I didn't understand the details, but I got the gist of it. On the way back, Serafina unexpectedly told me her family story. Her father had been a soldier, but had been discharged due to injuries. He had started his own business and met her mother. A few years later, Horizon Dynamics had become a major company, and he had reached the pinnacle of his career. But then her mother was diagnosed with cancer and passed away. His health had declined ever since. 3 years ago, he had collapsed during a company meeting, and the company had been thrown into chaos. It was then that Serafina had taken over as CEO, stabilized the company, and successfully took it public. After going public, the company's performance had improved, but her father's stake had been diluted. Due to his illness, he could no longer serve as chairman, so he had transferred all his shares to her. But the other shareholders had their own ambitions, and many wanted to vie for the chairman position, with a man named Ethan Kahn being the most prominent. Leo, the reason I married you was partly to please my father, but the other, more important reason is to fight for the chairman position, she finally revealed. Fight for the chairman position? What does that have to do with getting married? I asked, confused. There's an unwritten rule on the board. A female candidate for chairman must be married, she explained. Oh? What kind of weird rule is that? It is weird. It's because of the conservative members on the board. They're worried that a young, single woman as chairman would bring instability to the company. Instability? I shook my head. What a ridiculous concern. We chatted until we got back to the city. It was morning rush hour, so we were still stuck in traffic. By the time we got to the office, it was 8:35. Crap, I'm going to be late again. That's 5 times this month. My bonus is gone. Who came up with this stupid rule anyway? I complained. I did, she said, rolling her eyes. I was speechless. You're an idiot. You're an executive director now. You don't have to clock in, she reminded me. Oh, right. I forgot, I said, my mood instantly lifting. When I got to my office, Chloe quickly stood up. Good morning, Director Hayes. Oh, Chloe, that blue suit looks great on you today, I said, my eyes lighting up. It's nothing. Oh, Director, are you wearing Armani? She asked, surprised. Huh? Is it that obvious? Of course. That suit must be over 30 grand, she said with a sigh. I was impressed. Women really did have a natural sense for luxury goods. I went into my office, and Chloe immediately brought me a cup of coffee. It was a basic skill for any executive assistant. Director, it's Friday. There's a senior management meeting at 9 that you need to attend, she said, handing me a schedule. Okay, I nodded. Chloe, can you get me the company's organizational chart and related business documents? Yes, sir. She said, quickly bringing me the files. Ding. System notification, host has uncollected evolution points. I immediately opened the system. I had completed the entry-level promotion achievement, which gave me 600 evolution points. I collected them, bringing my total to 1200. System, initiate I evolution. Ding. Congratulations, host. LV2I evolution successful. Eyes LV2 abilities, hyper reading plus supervision. Supervision? I scanned my office and found that my eyesight was much clearer. Not only that, but with the office door open, I could see Chloe texting at her desk outside, and I could clearly read the messages on her phone. Chloe, Ashley, you won't believe it. My boss is wearing an Armani suit today. He's way hotter than any of those guys you're obsessed with. Bestie, no way. Send a pic. Chloe, no way. You're not going to drool over my boss. I want to enjoy the view myself. Bestie, you're so stingy. You don't have a crush on him, do you? Chloe, oh, I totally do. What should I do? Bestie, oomph. You haven't pounced on him yet? Make him kneel at your feet. Chloe, OMG, stop. My face turned red. Mind your own business, mind your own business. I never would have guessed that the serious Chloe was such a speed racer in her private chats. I opened the system interface. Host, Leo Hayes Brain LV2, Advanced Intellect Eyes LV2, Hyper Reading plus Supervision. Remaining evolution points, 700 next evolution target, ears. My eyes lit up. I wondered what an ear evolution would do. System, initiate ear evolution. Ding. Congratulations, host. LV1 ear evolution successful. Continue evolution. Ding. Congratulations, host. LV2 ear evolution successful. I eagerly checked my status. Ears LV2 abilities, super hearing plus mind reading. I understood super hearing. But mind reading? Host, you can use your eyes to select a target, then silently think mind reading. I looked at Chloe and thought, mind reading. Chloe's thoughts, Director Hayes is so handsome. I'm probably not good enough for him. But I can still fantasize about some steamy scenes with him, right? Just then, she turned her head and looked towards the office, our eyes meeting. Oh. Her face instantly turned red, and she looked away. I was stunned. I could actually hear her thoughts? This mind-reading ability was insane. It was awesome. Chloe, what's wrong? Why are you blushing? I walked over, teasing her. Oh, Director, it's nothing, she said, pretending to be nonchalant. Nothing? Then why is your face so red? I continued to tease her. Is it? It must be hot in here. Oh, Director, I need to use the restroom, she said, making a quick escape. I smirked. The restroom? I was ecstatic. I had to keep working hard and unlocking more life achievements to get more evolution points. Ding. New mission issued, enhance host's influence. Complete a 1 billion advertising investment mission reward, 1000 evolution points. I was stunned. A 1 billion advertising investment? That was a challenging mission. I was now in charge of the mobile internet division. The fastest way to make money was to attract advertisers. I quickly skimmed through the company's organizational and business documents. Soon, it was almost 9. I took my laptop and went to the 6th floor conference room. As a publicly listed company, Horizon Dynamics had a regular meeting every Friday morning, attended by senior management. Good morning, Director Hayes. Director Hayes. On the way, many employees greeted me. A few young female employees even gave me admiring glances. In their eyes, I was the youngest senior executive in the company, a rising star with a promising future. I quickly arrived at the 6th floor conference room. Many people were already there, with nameplates on the table. I found my seat and sat down. You must be Director Hayes. Hello, I'm Catherine Young, from HR, a beautiful woman in a business suit next to me said. Hello, Catherine. It's a pleasure to meet you. You're not only beautiful but also incredibly efficient. Thank you for assigning me an assistant so quickly yesterday, I said generously. Not at all. Director Hayes is the one who is truly talented, she said with a happy smile, her pride swelling. Soon, the other executives in the room also came over to greet me. At their level, networking was a way of life. But a middle-aged man sitting across from me snorted. I see our company's executive appointments are getting more and more casual. A kid who's barely weaned, what can he do? He sneered. I frowned. I recognized him as Tyler Reed, the ED of the online media division. That division was responsible for the company's news media, mainly targeting PCs. It had once been the company's most prominent division, but with the rise of mobile, its influence had waned. When Serafina had proposed the mobile internet division, Tyler had been strongly against it, suggesting that it be merged with his own division. But Serafina had rejected his proposal, and he had been resentful ever since. Even now, much of the content on my SwiftBird app came from his division. When the previous ED of my division had resigned, Tyler had thought he had another chance. But then I had appeared out of nowhere. When he found out I was just a programmer, he had almost coughed up blood. I understood his resentment, but calling me barely weaned was a bit much. Director Hayes, don't mind him. That's just how he is, Catherine whispered to me. Just then, the conference room door opened. Serafina walked in with another stunningly beautiful woman. This woman had a voluptuous figure, and unlike Serafina's icy beauty, she exuded a charming, seductive aura. She was the very definition of sexy. I immediately recognized her. It was Nina Chen, the CFO of Horizon Dynamics. She and Serafina were known as the dynamic duo of the company. Nina was Serafina's senior in college, and the two were very close, which was why Serafina had entrusted her with such an important position. As Nina entered the room, her captivating eyes scanned the crowd, finally landing on me. She gave me a slight smirk, her red lips curling into a smile. I was stunned. Why was she looking at me like that? Mind reading. Nina's thoughts, so this is the bastard Serafina was talking about? He's actually kind of handsome. But why is he staring at my chest? Humph, what a pervert. My face fell. I wondered what lies Serafina had told her about me. And who was staring at her chest? This woman was so full of herself. When Serafina entered, the executives all sat up straight, and the room fell silent. Ms. Vance, everyone is here, Mandy reported. Good. Let's begin, she nodded. Mandy sat at a side table to take minutes. The regular meetings usually consisted of each department head reporting on their work for the week. The first to report was Tyler Reed. At first, it was just a routine report, but then he proposed a new feature for the SwiftBird app, a shake function. His division was currently focusing on dating services, and he wanted to use SwiftBird to attract users. He hoped that through the shake function, people could connect with others nearby and interact on their dating platform. Ha! I frowned. The shake function was common in social media apps and had been very popular when it first came out. But Tyler was overstepping his bounds, trying to meddle with my division's app. Serafina frowned. The feature could indeed attract a lot of users in a short amount of time. Does anyone have any thoughts on Director Reed's proposal? She asked. The other executives started to voice their opinions, most of them in favor. I object, I said suddenly. All eyes turned to me. Oh? Tyler was not pleased. Director Hayes, do you have an opinion? Please share it with us, Serafina said, surprised that I would object so directly. SwiftBird is a news app, not a social media app. I think this feature is completely unnecessary and will only make our users think our app is trashy, I said bluntly. Serafina nodded. That was her concern as well. But Tyler was not happy. Director Hayes, that's not right. Have you done any market research? Do you know how many users social media apps have attracted with this feature? There are many ways to attract users. My news app is not one of them. If you want to use Shake to attract users for your dating service, Director Reed, you can launch your own dating app, I said without reservation. Don't forget, a lot of the content on SwiftBird comes from my division, he said, losing his temper. Director Reed, you need to understand your position. The news content is provided by the online media division, not by you personally. And it's because of SwiftBird that your content has value. Our collaboration is a company strategy, I said seriously. Kid, don't give me that crap. You don't get to make this decision. Ms. Vance is the CEO. She decides, he sneered. Don't use Ms. Vance to threaten me. If she forces me to add this feature, I'll quit, I said defiantly. You arrogant brat. Ms. Vance, is this the director you promoted? Tyler slammed his hand on the table. Serafina's expression was grim, but she agreed with my points. But I was being too blunt, especially with her sitting right there. Nina's eyes lit up, surprised by my assertiveness. Ahem, Director Hayes, watch your tone, Serafina said sternly. I nodded. I'm sure everyone here is familiar with an app called Moments. Its Shake feature has become a tool for online hookups. If Director Reed wants to get into the dating app business, he should learn from their example, I said with a smile. Tyler's face turned ashen. The other executives couldn't help but snicker. All right. We'll table this for now. Let's hear from the other departments, Serafina quickly interjected. If this continued, who knew what else I would say? The other directors began their reports. At first, I listened attentively, but the content was so boring, it was like listening to a lecture. I started to get sleepy. Should I just take a nap? I thought. No, that would be bad. It was a senior management meeting, after all, and I had to show my wife some respect. I wished I had brought my tea. I decided to find something to do to stay awake. I pulled out my phone and saw a new friend request on WeChat. It was from Nina, the hot CFO. Why was she adding me? I accepted, and a message immediately came through. Nina, Director Hayes, it's Nina. Winking _ emoji. Leo, I know. So I'm not the only one not paying attention in the meeting. Dodge _ meme, Nina, you bad boy. You were so forceful just now. Not many people dare to go against Director Reed. Leo, really? I wasn't trying to go against him. I just don't like him. Across the table, Nina couldn't help but laugh at my message. Ha! Serafina glanced over at her, and she quickly put her phone away. Seeing that Nina was now focused on the meeting, I opened a game on my phone, King's Glory. If I was sleepy, a game would wake me up. I turned off the sound first. I was sitting far enough from Serafina that she wouldn't notice. I bowed my head and started playing. Catherine, sitting next to me, glanced over and saw that I was playing a game. Her eyes widened in shock. With Serafina in the room, no one even dared to doze off, let alone play a game. I was being incredibly bold. Just then, Serafina's gaze fell on me. I was still looking down, my face hidden by my laptop, but the corners of my mouth would occasionally twitch up, a clear sign that I was on my phone. She was furious. Who dared to be so audacious in her meetings? Just as the last director finished their report, Serafina saw that I was still playing. She snapped, Leo Hayes, what are you doing? The sudden shout startled me. I fumbled with my phone, trying to turn off the screen. But in my panic, I accidentally hit the volume up button, and the game's sound effects blared through the silent conference room. Double kill. Triple kill. Ha! All the executives turned to look at me. Tyler heard the game sounds and bloated. Leo is so dead, he thought. He's definitely pissed off the CEO now. I groaned, quickly turning off my phone. Catherine looked at me with pity, shaking her head. Nina was trying to stifle a laugh. Slam! Leo Hayes, stand up. Serafina yelled, slamming her hand on the table. Swoosh! I shot up instinctively, like a kid in class who'd just been called on by the teacher. Well done, Director Hayes. Playing games during a meeting. Are you playing Winner Winner Chicken Dinner? Serafina said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. It's not that, it's King's Glory, I clarified. I don't care if it's King's Glory or King's Fertilizer. I think it's time for your medication, don't you? Tell me, why were you playing games during a meeting? She demanded, raising an eyebrow. I was a little sleepy. I just wanted to play a game to wake myself up, I said shamelessly. Pfft, ha ha. The other executives couldn't help but laugh. What? Serafina was flabbergasted by my bizarre excuse. Playing a game to wake up? This shameless man, did he really think she wouldn't dare fire him? Bastard! Why were you sleepy? She fumed. Why was I sleepy? You should know. I only got a few hours of sleep last night, I said sheepishly. Ha! At my words, everyone in the conference room exchanged strange glances. Why was I sleepy, you should know? The phrase had a certain implication. The CEO should know? They wondered. Were the CEO and Director Hayes together last night? A man and a woman, alone at night, what could they have been doing? My one sentence had sent their imaginations into overdrive. Serafina's face instantly turned beet red. She gritted her teeth, furious. What nonsense is this bastard spouting? Leo, didn't I ask you to work overtime last night to reinforce the security of the Swiftbird app? Are you complaining to me now? She quickly came up with an excuse. The other executive's expressions changed to ones of understanding. Oh, so that's what it was. I was momentarily stunned, then I understood. Right. I shouldn't be complaining. You're not sleepy anymore, are you? Good. Didn't you want to present a backup plan for the Swiftbird app? Go ahead, report to everyone, she said, quickly changing the subject. Oh, okay. I nodded, opened my laptop, connected to the projector, and began my presentation. Tyler Reed looked confused. What was going on? Was she just going to let the game-playing incident slide? This wasn't her usual style. The CEO was known for being a ruthless ice queen. Why was she being so lenient with this kid? A moment later, I finished my presentation, ending with the key point: I needed a $5 million budget. I object. Tyler immediately shot back. You objected to my proposal, now I'll object to yours, he thought. Director Reed, this is an internal plan for the mobile internet division. It has nothing to do with your department, I retorted. Tyler was speechless. Nina saw his expression and exchanged a glance with Serafina. Serafina looked helpless. What do you mean, it has nothing to do with us? The majority of the advertising revenue for Swiftbird still comes from our marketing department, he said proudly. That yearly target, though only a small part of the company's total revenue, was still a significant amount. Good. I hereby announce that starting today, the mobile internet division will launch its own advertising plan, with a yearly target of $1 billion. I said with an air of authority. What? Everyone was stunned. $1 billion in ad revenue in 1 year? Even some of the most famous internet companies in the country couldn't reach that number. Serafina was shocked. She never expected me to set such a high target for myself. The other executives all shook their heads, thinking I was being reckless. If you want to prove yourself, at least be a little more modest, they thought. $1 billion. Tyler's heart skipped a beat. Well, Director Hayes is full of youthful vigor. It's fine for you to set your own targets, but what if you fail? He asked, raising an eyebrow. If I fail, I'll resign, I said directly. Sigh. The other executives all sighed. So young and foolish. Ha, Ms. Vance, did you hear that? He's making a military pledge himself. Tyler said gleefully. Slam. Serafina suddenly slammed her hand on the table. Tyler immediately fell silent. Everyone went quiet. All right. That's all for today's meeting. Meeting adjourned. She said, then turned and left the room, her face like ice. Well. Tyler was confused. Meeting adjourned. The other executives gathered their things and left. They all knew that by not taking a clear stance, the CEO was giving me a way out. Leo, let's see how you're going to clean up this mess, Tyler said with a smug smile, then left. I just shrugged. Didn't these people have any faith in me? Director Hayes, you were too impulsive, Catherine said, then she also left. Finally, only I and the other half of the dynamic duo, Nina Chen, the beautiful CFO, were left in the conference room. You bad boy, you're so, Nina said with a playful smile. Director Chen, are you teasing me again? I didn't understand why she was being so friendly. Why would I? I really think you're very. But you're the first man I've ever seen who sets his own performance targets, she said with a charming smile. Director Chen, as you can see, I think I pissed off the Empress, I said helplessly. The Empress? Put, you mean Serafina? Nina was taken aback. Ahem, well, Director Chen, I should get back to work, I said, realizing my mistake. I had almost forgotten that this bombshell was Serafina's best friend. Hey, bad boy, don't be in such a hurry, Nina said, suddenly putting her hand on the door, her soft hand blocking my path, her proud chest thrust forward. Ha! I was caught off guard and bumped into her. I was completely stunned. What was this woman doing? Were we that close? And this posture, this was an office. Was she hitting on me? Ahem, Director Chen, is there anything else? I asked, clearing my throat. Are you free tonight? Let's have a beer, she said, her charming eyes looking at me with a seductive glint. A beer? I thought. The three great hobbies of a mature woman: beer, bathing, and eating young grass. Was this bombshell trying to pick me up? No, that couldn't be it. She must be setting a trap for me. She must have been sent by Serafina to deal with me. I had seen the Heaven Sword in Dragon's Saber a dozen times. I remembered the line, the more beautiful a woman is, the more likely she is to deceive you, very well. Ahem, I'm sorry, Director Chen, I have plans tonight. What plans? My wife is giving birth. Oh? Giving birth? Nina was stunned and retracted her slender arm. I took the opportunity to bolt out the door. By the time she came to her senses, I was long gone. You bad boy, you're surprisingly funny. I'm getting more and more interested in you, she said with a smirk, her beautiful eyes curving into crescents. I had just gotten on the elevator when my phone buzzed with a message from Serafina. Come to my office. I had no choice but to go up to the 5th floor. What's up, honey? Did you miss me already? I said, walking into the office and collapsing onto the sofa without a second thought. Serafina's jaw almost dropped. Who was this guy? He was getting more and more brazen. You bastard, get up. Why? There's no one else here, I said shamelessly. Hayes, I am your superior. If you don't start showing some respect, I'll dock your year-end bonus. She roared. Ahem, honey, don't be angry, I quickly stood up. This woman knew my weakness. I'm not angry? You were playing games during a meeting. I think you don't want this job anymore, do you? She glared at me. Why would you say that? Didn't I just take the initiative to bring in more advertising for the company? I think you don't know your own limits. You bring in advertising, she said, speechless. Honey, don't you support me either? Just do your job well. That's enough. No. I've already made a boast in front of so many people. I have to launch the advertising plan, I said seriously. Fine. Go ahead. You're so capable. I'll be waiting for you to bring in $1 billion in ad revenue, she said through gritted teeth. Honey, if I really complete the $1 billion mission, what's my reward? I asked with a grin. Her eyes widened. Am I a babysitter? You're asking for a reward every day. How about this, honey? If I really complete the $1 billion mission, you'll accompany me once, I said with a wicked smile. You shameless rogue, what did you just say? If you talk to me like that again, I'll castrate you and make you a eunuch. Her eyes widened, her queenly aura erupting. She was furious. The last time, this bastard had asked for a kiss. This time, he was directly asking her to accompany him. Why are you in such a rush? Let me finish. I said I want you to accompany me once, not sleep with me. I explained, feigning innocence. Not sleep with me? Then what kind of accompanying is it? Her anger subsided a little. I just want you to have dinner with me. I explained. Have dinner with you? Why should I have dinner with you? I'm telling you, even though we're married, don't have any unrealistic, improper thoughts, she glared at me. Don't worry. You're so cold. Even if you were really my wife, I couldn't stand it, I said sheepishly. Serafina was stunned. It's like this. I'm planning to have a get-together with some of my close friends. You can come as my girlfriend and give me some face. What do you think? I explained with a smile. Hayes, I didn't realize you were so vain. You want to use me to show off? She was stunned. This guy's skin was as thick as a city wall. Who doesn't want to show off a little? Every time my friends get together, they all bring their girlfriends. I'm the only single dog. I don't want to be hurt by 1,000 points of damage again, I said honestly. Oomph, it's just one dinner. Fine. As long as you can complete the $1 billion mission, she agreed readily. Why so readily? Because she didn't believe I could do it. So whether she agreed or not, the outcome was the same. So my dear wife agrees. That's great, I nodded happily. The thought of bringing a beautiful girlfriend like Serafina to dinner with my friends, and seeing their envious expressions, made me ecstatic. This bastard has got me all flustered. I almost forgot the main reason I called you here. What main reason? This afternoon at 2, we have an important foreign client visiting. As the ED of the mobile internet division, you'll be attending with me. Remember, don't wander off. I'll send you the client's information through the internal network, she instructed. Okay, no problem, I nodded. And this is for you, she said, handing me a file. It was the backup system proposal I had written, with her signature of approval on it. Haha, honey, you finally signed it. Didn't that old fossil Tyler Reed object to me spending money? I am the CEO of this company. Honey, you're so good to me, I said, a little touched. It felt good to be protected by a woman. If there's nothing else, get out. She glared at me. All right, I said, taking the file and leaving. A moment later, Nina-chan walked into Serafina's office. The two best friends each made a cup of coffee and started chatting. Nina, you saw it in the meeting today. That Leo Hayes, he's such a troublemaker. A real disruptor, Serafina said through gritted teeth. Oh? Serafina, you can actually say the word disruptor? Ha, that's hilarious, Nina laughed, doubling over. Nina, you're still laughing. He's driving me crazy, Serafina said, taking a sip of coffee to calm herself down. Serafina, I actually think this Leo Hayes is very. And didn't you say his IT skills are amazing? His skills are indeed amazing. But Nina, let me tell you, this Leo Hayes is a money grubber. You're the CFO, keep a close eye on him. Don't let him make any mistakes, Serafina instructed. Serafina, be honest with me. Is there something special between you and Leo? Nina asked, her eyebrows arching. Ahem. Nina, what kind of relationship could I have with him? I promoted him because of his skills, Serafina said, a little guiltily. Although they were best friends, the matter of the chairman position was a big deal. She couldn't tell Nina about her marriage to me just yet. Is that so? Well, I'll have to test this Leo Hayes later and see what he's made of, Nina said charmingly. Test his depth? What? Serafina's eyes widened. Oh, my innocent little Serafina. You have a dirty mind now, don't you? Nina immediately understood her expression. Of course not, Serafina quickly denied, a little embarrassed. By the way, that Leo Hayes is actually quite funny. I asked him to have a beer with me tonight. Guess what he said? He agreed? He refused. He said he had plans, his wife was about to give birth. Nina said, half laughing, half in disbelief. Give birth? That bastard. He's the one who's going to give birth, Serafina snapped. Ha? Nina looked at her strangely. He's just full of crap, Serafina said awkwardly. By the way, Serafina, don't forget old Mr. Chu's youngest daughter's birthday party at the Eastern Joy Club tonight, Nina reminded her. Oh, I hate those kinds of social events. But Mr. Chu is a senior in the business world. I can't skip this one. How about you come with me, Nina? Serafina said helplessly. Fine. I love those kinds of social events. I can meet a lot of handsome guys, Nina said proudly. Nina, you're always talking about handsome guys. Why don't you ever actually find a boyfriend? Sigh, maybe I'm just too picky. Meanwhile, I didn't go back to my office. I went to the tech department. Director Hayes, you're here, David greeted me respectfully. Manager Young, take a look at this proposal, I said, handing him the backup system plan. Yes, Director, he said, his eyes lighting up as he skimmed through it. They were going to be purchasing a lot of new hardware. This was a great opportunity for him to get some kickbacks. By the way, give me the files on the hardware suppliers we usually work with, I said suddenly. David was stunned. Usually, he was in charge of procurement. It seemed I wanted to take control. But he wasn't discouraged. For a multi-million-dollar purchase like this, there were only a few qualified suppliers. He could still get a little something from them. Yes, Director, he said obediently. Then I went to the server room to check the servers. Hello, Director Hayes. An engineer named Sam greeted me respectfully. Is the system running normally today? I asked. Yes, Director, everything is normal, he reported. I nodded and logged into the network devices on a computer in the room. Then I created a network vulnerability. Of course, I did it on purpose. It was the honeypot I wanted to use to catch the hacker. I also set up a virtual server. Director, what are you setting up? Sam asked, surprised by the complex code I was typing. It's a defensive strategy. By the way, I'm going to set up an early warning system. If you get an alert, report it to me immediately, I said. Yes, Director, he nodded quickly. After giving Sam his instructions, I left the tech department. David immediately made a phone call. The name on the screen was Kyle Bradford. Hello, Mr. Bradford? Manager Young, no need to be so formal. Just call me Kyle. All right, Kyle. I won't be formal then. Our company is looking to purchase a batch of hardware soon. Really? Manager Young? That's great. How big is the order? Around 5 million. 5 million? On the other end, Kyle was clearly shocked and overjoyed. Manager Young, are you free tonight? I'd like to treat you to a sauna and a massage. We can have a chat, Kyle quickly extended an olive branch. Well, let's not rush things. We have a new ED. Although I'm the one making the decision, it still needs to be signed off by my superior. I'll act as a middleman. You can treat him to a meal, and we'll call it a day, David said, exaggerating his role in the procurement process. All right, Manager Young. No problem. Just let me know when you've arranged it. So, the usual arrangement? Manager Young, don't worry. I won't forget your cut. Good. That's all for now. Back in my office, I wasn't going to waste any opportunity to learn. I bought a bunch of books from the Dragon's Lair, Big Data, Artificial Intelligence, Cloud Computing. I also bought some books on other subjects, like finance and investment. Then I opened the Super Evolution System. Host, Leo Hayes. Brain LV2, Advanced Intellect Eyes LV2, Supervision plus Hyper-Reading Ears LV2, Superhearing plus Mind Reading. Remaining evolution points, 100 Next evolution target, hands. I was surprised. The next evolution target was my hands. I still have 100 points. Let's evolve them, I thought. A moment later, I had completed the LV1 evolution of my hands. Hands LV1 ability, Almighty Hands. Almighty Hands possesses almighty strength, toughness, flexibility, and creativity in the hands. I was a little surprised. I didn't know the specific abilities of Almighty Hands, but I tried clenching my fist. It was incredibly powerful. I was confident I could knock someone out with one punch. Wow, every evolution has its own benefits. I checked the system's achievement interface. The top achievement I needed to unlock was complete the first kiss. This achievement is easy, yet difficult, I thought. The key is that I don't have a partner to cooperate with. I was a little frustrated. I glanced at Chloe sitting outside. Should I try to negotiate with her? I shook my head. I wasn't that much of a pervert yet. I put the thought aside and started working. I was so busy that I almost missed lunch. When I got to the company cafeteria with my employee card, there were only a few people left. But I was surprised to see Serafina eating in a corner. The Ice Queen rarely ate in the cafeteria. She usually had Mandy order food for her or went out. It was a rare sight. Did the sun rise in the west today? Honey. Ms. Vance, why are you eating in the cafeteria? I had almost called her honey, but then I remembered where we were. None of your business. Why are you sitting across from me? Go eat somewhere else, she glared at me. Don't be like that. I just saw you sitting here all alone and thought I'd keep you company, I grinned. Who needs your company? She said, speechless. Just then, a few employees walked into the cafeteria. It was Mike and a few others from the development department. Ha! They were all surprised to see me and Serafina sitting together. Wow, Leo is so cool. He's even eating with the beautiful CEO, Mike sighed. That's right. He's a role model for all of us men, another colleague said with admiration. Seeing that Serafina was ignoring me, I started eating. The stir-fried potatoes are good today. The tofu is a little bland. The braised pork is not bad, but the cafeteria lady gave me so little, I commented on the food. Just then, I noticed that Serafina hadn't touched the braised pork on her plate. Oh, Ms. Vance, why aren't you eating the braised pork? I asked, stunned. I don't like it. I'm afraid of getting fat, she pouted. What's so fattening about braised pork? Besides, there are only a few pieces. If you're not going to eat it, I will. We can't waste food, I said, using my chopsticks to take the braised pork from her plate. Mike, who had just gotten his food, saw this and his jaw almost hit the floor. Serafina saw my action and her eyes widened. What are you doing? That's my braised pork. You're not eating it anyway. It's just going to be thrown out. Don't be so stingy, I said, happily eating it. Her face turned beet red. It wasn't about being stingy. She had already taken a bite of some of those pieces, which meant they might have her saliva on them. And I had just eaten them. Wasn't that an indirect kiss? The thought made her even more embarrassed. Eat, eat, eat. I hope you choke on it. She muttered, then gathered her plate and left the cafeteria. I shook my head helplessly. Then Mike came over with a grin and sat across from me. Wow, Leo, you're so cool. Did you just take the CEO's braised pork? He asked in disbelief. Yeah, so? I nodded. So? She's Serafina Vance, the Ice Queen, the Empress of Horizon Dynamics. You dared to snatch food from the tiger's mouth? He said in amazement. I was amused by his analogy. Weren't all women tigers? So what if she's the CEO? She's still human. I even criticized her just now, I boasted. Huh? What? Leo, you criticized the CEO? Mike's eye twitched. Yeah, she wasn't eating the braised pork. Isn't that wasting food? I took it and ate it for her, and criticized her a bit. She got upset and left, I said with a straight face. Hiss. Mike took a sharp breath. By the way, Mike, you'll be the acting manager of the development department from now on. After a month, it'll be permanent, I remembered. Oh, Leo, you're my real brother. How about this? I'll toast you with this soup instead of wine, he said, raising his bowl of hot and sour soup. Forget it. You're not fooling me with soup, I grinned. At 1:50 p.m., I went to the CEO's office. Besides Serafina, Nina Chen and the company's VP, Raymond Chen, were also there. Raymond was in charge of business development and public relations. He usually handled important client meetings. Hello, Mr. Chen, I greeted him. So you're Leo Hayes. You're very young, he said. He was often on business trips, so he didn't know me. All right, let's not chat. Let's go down to the reception room and wait, Serafina said directly. We all went downstairs. 6 months ago, Swiftbird had launched a new business channel called Car Savvy. It was an automotive news platform, and Serafina's goal was to build it into a leading car trading platform. It had been online for a while and had a decent amount of daily traffic. But what it lacked was the participation of major car manufacturers. Without them, it didn't have enough credibility. The client visiting the company today was Dussel, the head of the China region for the global automotive giant, Prestige Motors. Prestige Motors owned many car brands. If we could get them to partner with us, it would be a major leap for Car Savvy. That's why Serafina was personally going down to greet them. Mr. Chen, is our translator here? She asked. Yes, Ms. Vance. The translator is already waiting in the lobby, he nodded. We need a translator? I was surprised. Mr. Dussel is from the Middle East. He still speaks his native language in the country, so we need a translator, and a high-level one at that, Nina whispered to me. I had read Dussel's file, and I remembered he was from the Middle East. It was just surprising that the head of the China region didn't speak Chinese. Soon, we arrived at the first-floor reception room.